Hello and welcome to another video. So today I am bringing spooky season a bit early. I am really excited for spooky season. I love Halloween. Halloween and Christmas are like my favourite times of the year. And I thought I'd bring you a bit of a spooky TBR. So not all of these books will necessarily make it onto my October TBR. I will be taking part in Spoopathon, which is hosted by Spoopy Hole, who I'll put in the description below so that you can check out if you want to join in. It's going to be so much fun. I am going to be on Team Ghostbusters, which is Rose's team. I am really excited though, because I'm going to try and get as many of these books on that TBR as possible, because I'm really in a spooky mood. So I'm gonna just go through these. I'm not really gonna talk much about them. I'm just gonna like read the blurbs, and yeah, there's quite a few here, so I'm just gonna make a start because it's gonna take a while. So I have a couple of dark retellings which I want to get to. So first up we have Cursed, which it's a collection of short stories by various different authors, but there's Neil Gaiman, Christina Henry and loads more which I've not actually heard of, but it's got All the Better to Read You With, It's a Prick of Blood, The Bite of an Apple, and The Evil Eye, A Wedding Ring or a Pair of Red Shoes. Curses come in all shapes and sizes, and they can happen to anyone, not just those of us with unpopular step-parents. Here you'll find unique twists on curses, from fairy tale classics to brand new hexes of the modern world. Expect new monsters and mythologies, as well as twists on well-loved fables. Stories to shock and stories of warning, stories of monsters and stories of magic. And I do quite like short story collections when they're like this. And Neil Gaiman and Christina Henry write atmospheric books so well, so I'm looking forward to getting to this. Then we have a dark Peter Pan retelling, and this is Wendy Darling by A.C. Wise. So it's got Find the Second Star from the Right and Fly Straight on Till Morning, all the way to Neverland, a children's paradise with no rules, no adults, only endless adventure in enchanted forests, all led by the charismatic boy who would never grow old. But Wendy Darling grew up. She has a husband and a young daughter called Jane, a life in London. But one night, after all these years, Peter Pan returns. Wendy finds him outside her daughter's window looking to claim a new mother for his lost boys. But instead of Wendy, he takes Jane. Now a grown woman, a mother, a patient and a survivor, Wendy must follow Peter back to Neverland to rescue her daughter and finally face the darkness at the heart of the island. This one I think is going to be a bit of a dark and gothic type retelling, which I'm really excited about because I love Peter Pan. So there's that one, and this one was actually gifted to me by the publisher, so I should really get a move on with reading it because I've been slacking. And then the other dark retelling is a dark Cinderella retelling, and that is The Shadow in the Glass by J.J.A. Harwood. So the blurb for this is: once upon a time, Ella wished for more than a life as a lowly maid. Now, forced to work hard under the unforgiving, lecherous gaze of the man she once called stepfather, Ella's only refuge is in the books she reads by candlelight, secreted away in the library she isn't permitted to enter. One night, among her beloved books of far-off lands, Ella's wishes are answered. At the stroke of midnight, a fairy godmother makes her an offer that will change her life. 7 wishes, hers to make as she pleases. Joy, opportunity, comfort, and even love are within her reach once more, but each wish comes at a price, and Ella must decide whether it's one she's willing to pay. That sounds so good. That sounds right up my street, and this is one that I've actually got an e-arc for, so again, I need to read it so that I can post my review on NetGalley finally. But this does sound really, really amazing. Then we have a couple of witchy ones. So we have The Graces by Laura Eve. I've actually had this for so long, I've decided to put it on my self-destruct for this year. So if I could get this on my October TBR, that would be amazing, because then that's another book of my self-destruct done. But everyone loves The Graces. Fenrir Grace is larger than life, almost mythical. He's the school pan, seducing girls without really meaning to. He's biding his time until someone special comes along. Someone different who will make him wonder how he got along all this time without her. Someone like me. Fenrir's twin Thalia is a willowy beauty with rippling honey-coloured hair. Wherever she goes, Talia leaves behind a band of followers who want to emulate her. She casts spells over everyone she encounters, just like Fenrir, even if they both deny it. Then there's Summer. She's the youngest Grace, and the only one who admits she's really a witch. Summer is dark on the outside with jet black hair and kohl-rimmed eyes, and on the inside, It was the inevitable that she'd find me, the new girl, a loner with secrets lurking under the surface. I am River. I am not a Grace, but I'll do anything to become one. So obviously this is witchy. It sounds like it's going to have a bit of a like darkness to it, which I'm here for. And hopefully I can get to it soon because I really want to read this one. This is one of these self-destruct books that I'm actually really looking forward to. Then we have one of my most daunting reads, which I'm actually going to be, this is definitely going on my October TBR because I'm going to be buddy reading it with Lisa from Lisa Does Life because we both want to get to it and it's intimidating. And that is Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I've had this book since it came out. That's a lie. I've had the e-arc since before it came out. And then I got this in the Illuma crate, I think, was it November 2019 or since November 2020, so I should really get to this. But I'm terrified and I'm terrible. I'm fearful and I'm something to be feared. In 1893, there's no such thing as witches. There used to be in the wild, dark days before the burnings begun, but now witching is nothing but tidy charms and nursery rhymes. If the modern woman wants any measure of power, she must find it in the ballot box. But when the Eastwood sisters, James Juniper, Agnes Amaranth and Beatrice Belladonna, join the suffragists of New Salem, they begin to pursue the forgotten words and ways that might turn the women's movement into the witches' movement. Stalked by shadows and sickness, hunted by forces that will not suffer a witch to vote, and perhaps not even to live, the sisters will need to delve into the oldest magics, draw new alliances, and heal the bond between them if they want to survive. There's no such thing as witches, but there will be. It sounds so good, but I've heard very mixed reviews about this, which is why I have been putting it off so much. But I'm going to read this in October and I really hope I enjoy it because it sounds like it's going to have the perfect vibe for October. Next up we have a thriller, and I think this is the only thriller I've actually put on this because I have read most of the thrillers I've got that aren't sequels, and that is Your Turn to Die by Sue Woolman. So it's got Some Secrets Can Kill, and it's got Leah can't wait to spend the week at Rose Shot House with her cousins Ivy and Poppy and family friend Jacob. Every year they slip away from the adults to the attic where they catch up and make predictions for the future. But this year their traditions are derailed by new girl Tatum and some disturbing news. The body of a teenage girl was discovered in the garden, a secret kept for over 60 years. As Leah begins to unravel the mystery, unsettling events around the house start to mirror their predictions from last year. If she isn't careful, history could repeat itself. It sounds so good, and it's got watch your back here as well. So and it's quite short and the writing's quite big, so I'm hoping to get to this one in October because it will be a very, very quick read. And then the rest are just a mix of like books that I feel are going to have a like spooky or creepy or mystery vibe. So first up we have Fear Street, The Beginning. So this is the first 4 books in the Fear Street series by R.L. Stine. I recently got this. It was in my August haul, and I mentioned there that I used to love like point horror books when I was a kid, and a lot of the point horror books I read were written by R.L. Stine. So I know I like the writing and the very like creepy atmospheric vibe that R.L. Stine creates, and this is just 4 short books, so even if I only read one of these, that would be amazing, and it would also be very quick. So yeah. So the blurb for this is: welcome to Fear Street, where strange things happen, people go missing and nightmares come true. This is where it all began. When Fear Street become legend, forever linked with danger, curses and things that go bump in the night, go back to how it all started, to the moment when Corey Brooks falls for perfect, incredible Anna, only to learn that she's gone missing on Fear Street. Venture into the terrifying Fear Street woods where Meg Dalton's best friend Evan died under mysterious circumstances, and discover why only Meg can uncover the truth behind his death. Follow Della to Fear Island and learn about the terrifying threats that forced Della to confront her past and the incident that occurred on the island between her and a dangerous stranger. And finally, return to Fear Street with Mark and Cara Burrows, who come home to find that their parents have disappeared, plunging them into a nightmare of chaos that neither of them could have ever predicted. The only thing they know for sure is that though Fear Street may be a mystery, not everyone escapes such an evil place alive. Only danger awaits those brave enough to travel down Fear Street. You're not afraid, are you? It sounds so good. The next one is The Forest of Ghosts and Bones by Lisa Ludecki. This one, I love this. I love this. I don't actually know how spooky this is going to be, but the name of it gives me spooky vibes. So it's got: you are the girl who can walk in the rain, and I am the boy who knows the way. As dark power surges, 3 strangers are bound together on a journey of discovery. For Beta, whose brother has been taken by the deadly rains falling on the haunted castle above her village, it means unravelling long buried secrets. For Liliana, it is an escape from the shadows, running from those who seek to destroy her. And for Benedict, a chance at a new life, rising above his humble beginnings? Will they unite to fight the darkness, or will each be seduced by power and all that it offers? So I don't know how spooky, mystery this is going to be, but it sounds like it's going to give off creepy vibes, and that's what I care about in October. Next up, we have a middle grade, and that is Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. So I've heard very good things about this. I've heard that for a middle grade, this is incredibly creepy, which I am so here for, and I love Catherine Arden's writing so much. So it's got, at night they will come for the rest of you. It's with this ominous warning that 11-year-old Ollie and her two friends Coco and Brian set out on a chilling adventure in the woods, with nightfall fast descending and the ever watchful eyes of scarecrows on their backs. What had begun as an unremarkable school trip to a nearby farm soon's become a frightening journey into the world behind the mist. In order to survive and not remain trapped there forever, Ollie and her friends need to be quick on their feet as they work to unravel a 100-year-old mystery, save their classmates, and beat the villainous smiling man at his own game. It's got creepy scarecrows. I'm here for it. Next up, we have Crater Lake by Jennifer Killick. Again, this is another middle grade, and just from the cover you can tell this is creepy. So it's got, welcome to Crater Lake, the year 6 school trip where your first day just might be your last. Maybe it's the bloodstained man who tries to stop the coach. Maybe it's the absence of welcoming staff. But something is definitely not right at Crater Lake Activity Centre. Then, at night, things get much, much stranger. Lance and his friends, Chet, Katja, Big Mac and Adrienne, find themselves in a fight for survival and must work together to defeat a swarm of enemies. But whatever happens, they must never, ever fall asleep. It sounds so creepy. And I do actually have the sequel, Crater Lake Evolution, but I highly doubt I'll be able to get through both in October, but I'm hoping to get through at least one. Then we have another one, which I'm not sure whether it classes as middle grade or YA. I'm not too sure, but this is The Bone Garden by Heather Kastner. Just from the cover, look at that. So it's got, remember my dear, you do not really and truly exist. Made of dust and bone and imagination, Ireli fears she's not quite real. Only the finest magical thread tethers her to life and to Miss Vesper. But for all her efforts to please her cruel creator, the thread is unravelling. Ireli is forgetful as she gathers bone dust. She is a slow returning from the dark passages beneath the cemetery. Worst of all, she is unmindful of her crooked bones. When Ireli makes one final unforgivable mistake by destroying a frightful creature just brought to life, Miss Vesper threatens to imagine her away once and for all. Defying her creator for the first time, Ireli flees to the underside of the graveyard, desperate to unearth the mysterious magic that breathes bones to life, even if it means she will return to dust and be no more. Yes. Yes. Next up is another one, I think it classes as YA, but that is Wranglestone by Darren Charlton. I've heard very good things about this. I believe it's zombies, and it is definitely zombies. And I'm here for it because I love anything zombies. So it says, the islands of Lake Wranglestone are a safe haven in a world filled with the restless dead. But as the lake freezes over, there's nothing to stop them from crossing the ice. Peter has never really felt at home in a place where practicality and grit are valued above all else. He's nothing like Cooper, the boy he's always watched from afar. But when he is ordered to join Cooper out on the mainland, they find more than just each other. There they unearth a dark secret about Wranglestone's past, one that forces the pair to question everything they've ever known. It just sounds so good, and it's got zombie thrills combined with an achingly tender gay love story. So not only is it zombies, but it's queer as well, which we are here for so much. And now the next one is one that my mum and my sister are going to be so happy about me putting, possibly putting on my October TBR, and that is The Drowning Pool by Sid Moore. So I think this might have been Sid Moore's debut. I'm not 100% sure. I have actually met Sid Moore, and she is so lovely. She's like a local author to near where my sister lives, and that's how my sister discovered her. And this is Death is Not the End. Relocated to a coastal town with her young son Alfie, widowed teacher Sarah Gray is slowly rebuilding her life, but following a seance one drunken night, she begins to be plagued by horrific visions. Her attempts to explain them away are dashed when Alfie starts to see them too, and soon it seems that they are targets of a terrifying haunting. Convinced that the ghost is that of a 19th century local witch and her own namesake, Sarah delves into local folklore and learns that the witch has that the witch was seen as evil incarnate. When a series of lulled letters surface, Sarah discovers that nothing and no one is as it seems, maybe not even the ghost of Sarah Gray. So it's a ghost story. I do know Sidmore writes a lot of witchy books, but this is a ghost story, and technically witch because the ghost is of a witch. But this is the only one of Sidmore's books I currently own because I wanted to, I don't read much adult books like this, so I thought I would give this a go first and then possibly dive into more by Sidmore. But I've had this book for a while. My sister got me this copy and I just haven't got to it, so hopefully October is the time. Next up, we have another short story collection, and that is Vampires Never Get Old, Tales with a Fresh Bite. So it's got Sink Your Teeth Into This. In this delicious new collection, you'll find 11 fresh vampire stories from young adult fiction's leading voices. Enter The House of Black Sapphires by Donielle Clayton and discover the secret world of vampires and magic behind the doors of New Orleans. Meet The Boys from Blood River by Rebecca Rowanhorse and their enticing power and terrible sacrifices. And in V. Schwab's First Kill, witness the centuries-old struggle between vampire and slayer and the thrill of forbidden love. Vampires lurking on social media, vampires hungry for more than just blood, vampires coming out and going out for their first kill. This collection puts a new spin on the age-old classic. Welcome to the evolution of the vampire and a revolution on the page. So yeah, I'm mostly excited about the V. Schwab story because it's the one that is actually being made into a Netflix thing. But it's also been edited by Zoraida Cordova and Natalie C. Parker, who I have read. I think there's actually a story in here by them too. And I have read books by both of them and really enjoyed them. So I'm really looking forward to this. We're nearly at the end, guys. Next up, we have The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. To be honest, I could put every Christina Henry book on this list that I haven't read yet, which, to be honest, isn't that many. But this has got Lauren and Miranda have been best friends forever. Every day one would say, meet me by the old ghost tree, and they would go and have adventures. But now Miranda only likes boys, and Lauren's father was found in the woods with his heart torn out, and no one was ever caught. A year later, the bodies of 2 girls are discovered. Lauren has a vision of a monster dragging human remains through the woods, and she knows she can't keep doing nothing, not like the rest of her town. The foundation of her seemingly normal home is rotten to the centre, and if nobody else stands for the missing, she will. Christina Henry has such a way with writing like horror, and I absolutely love it, so I'm really excited for this. It is a bit chunkier. It's almost 500 pages, so we'll see if I can fit it in. But I hope so, because I really like the sound of this, and I know I'm going to like it. Next up, we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. There is so much hype around this, so I'm a little bit daunted by it. But I do love everything I've read by Leigh Bardugo so far. But this is completely different to the Shadow, like, Grishaverse. So it's got... Alex Stern is the most unlikely member of Yale's freshman class. A dropout and the sole survivor of a horrific unsolved crime, the last thing she wants is to cause trouble. Not when Yale was supposed to be her fresh start, but a free ride to one of the world's most prestigious universities was bound to come with a catch. Alex has been tasked with monitoring the mysterious activities of Yale's secret societies that have yielded some of the most famous and influential people in the world. Now there's a dead girl on campus, and Alex seems to be the only one who won't accept the neat answer the police and campus administration have come up with for her murder, because Alex knows the secret societies are far more sinister and extraordinary than anyone ever imagined. They tamper with forbidden magic, they raise the dead, and sometimes they prey on the living. It sounds amazing, right? I don't know why I've been putting this off for so long, but I'm really hoping to get to this because this is going to give me all the spooky, creepy, mystery vibes I need. And then we're at the final one. And this is probably my most anticipated book out of all of these. And this is 100% going to be fitting onto my TBR somewhere in October. And that is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. I have been wanting to read this. I got this just after Halloween last year, and I have been saving it purposely for this October, and I am so excited to finally get to it. So Yadriel has summoned a ghost, and now he can't get rid of him. When his traditional Latinx family has problems accepting his gender, Yadriel becomes determined to prove himself a real Brujo. With the help of his cousin and best friend Martiza, he performs the Quincy's ritual himself, and then sets out to find the ghost of his murdered cousin, Miguel, and set him free. However, the ghost he summons is actually Julian Diaz, the school's resident bad boy, and Julian is not about to go quietly into death. He's determined to find out what happened and to tie up some loose ends before he leaves. Left with no choice, Yadriel agrees to help Julian so that they can both get what they want, but the longer Yadriel spends with Julian, the less he wants to let him leave. There's so much hype about this book, and it's one of the few books that there's a lot of hype about that doesn't daunt me. I feel like I'm going to love this. I'm so excited for it, and I cannot wait to get this on my October TBR. So that was all of the books that I am going to attempt to try and get at least some of them on my October TBR. There are a few that are 100% going on my October TBR, but a few of the others I'm going to try and squeeze in as well, because I want to make October as spooky as possible. But if you have read any of these and think I should prioritise getting them on that October TBR, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to know which ones I should prioritise. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye!